I'm Sonia West here in Langley, where we are joining a convoy of vehicles that are going to travel to Kitsilano from here, protesting animal cruelty and other things that are happening that they're not happy about. We're going to talk to the protesters, find out the cause of today's protest. It's happening all around the country, so not just here in the Langley area, it's happening in every city today. So we're going to keep you updated on what's happening, but let's talk to a few of the people that are here protesting. We'll start with the first one now. So we're right here with some of the protesters. We've got Darlene and Pam. Darlene, you've got a sign that says no farmers, no food, no future. What does that mean, and what are you protesting today?
Well, I would like the farmers to have the freedom to grow what they want and not have our eggs, our chickens killed, so we don't have a shortage of eggs. This is criminal to me, and what they did with the ostriches just broke my heart.
Okay, and Pam, what did you want to say about today? You've got the same no farmers, no food, no future. What does this protest today mean to you?
It means a lot to everyone, including the community, the consumers and farmers. They're shutting down farms. They're culling ostriches, 300 plus ostriches. And if few chicken are sick, they will be killing all the chickens. They've been killing like 20,000 plus chickens. So they're basically closing all the farms. So we have no food, no vegetables, no fruits, and they will be making lab meat, cloning, and obviously that's going to make us sick. So basically it means we need the farmers because that's our future, it's their future. So we need the government to stop their horrendous criminal act.
Thank you, Pam. Can you get me more protesters? So we'll talk to other protesters. Pam made a point about lab-created meat, which was initially said that the government was going to try to introduce that, but now, as far as my understanding, there's been a halt, and that cloned meat is not going to be available. So they're looking at that, and they've made the decision to not have that in stores now. And we are going to talk to more protesters that are here. Everybody's joining in despite the weather. It's raining today, but despite the weather, the protesters are here because they want to be heard. They want to speak up against things that they feel are atrocities against well, basically our community and our animals. So let's talk to these protesters. Hello. What is your name?
Hello, I'm sorry? My name is Michael.
Michael. And your name? Sandra. We've got Michael and Sandra here. They've got a flag with a beautiful ostrich on it. Tell me, what is the reason for the protest today, and why do you have this flag?
Well, it's indicative of the ostrich farm fiasco, the culling of the ostriches unnecessarily so, without proof from the government that they were in fact infected. And we're here to basically protest just this as an example of continuing overreach by our government and our bureaucracy that's unelected and doesn't have to answer to the people for what they do.
So at this time, you're not happy with the government?
Well, I'm certainly not happy with that branch of the government or the government in general. I think they're making big mistakes and ruining Canada's reputation around the world. We're becoming known as a culture of death around the world. We're killing the animals, killing our people, killing our babies. It's just never ends.
Well, I do appreciate you being out here in the rain. Obviously, you take this very seriously. Despite the weather, you're here fighting the good fight. So thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for covering. So we'll keep talking to more protesters. If you can bring me somebody else to talk to, then we can talk to them as well. The rain is pretty bad out here, but it's not stopping any of the protesters. They're saying no farmers, no food, no future. So food security continues to be a big challenge. And we talked yesterday, actually, with the city of Surrey that has incorporated agri-tech with SFU and Kwantlen. And it's a little bit of a confusing time because on the one side, there's advancement in technology, which would create different types of food. And then we've got protesters that are saying that they don't want to have any type of technology. They just want good old-fashioned farmers with their good old-fashioned food. So we've got two different dialogues going on here. You can have a look over here. We'll just show you this side here. Stamping out policy needs to be stamped out. So that lady's sign right over there, she's got a sign that says stamping out policy needs to be stamped out. Okay, so one of the protesters here named Gail wants to say something. Gail, what is it you want to tell everybody that's watching right now?
I think they need to pay attention to what's really happening out here and not believe the media, because the media are, unfortunately.
It's funny, I am the media. So what is it that the media is doing, or in your opinion, I'll exclude myself from this list, but what do you think that the media is doing that is wrong?
They're being bought off to not tell the truth. and that is very unfortunate for us.
So if that's your point, Gail, and I do appreciate the fact that you are talking to me because I am media, what is it that's a fallacy in your opinion that the media is reporting? What is the truth versus what you're hearing from media?
Well, everything the government is saying about what they're trying to do, they're not doing. You know, Carney is not telling the truth. He is not. He was placed here. He was not elected in, and I think we need to know our elections are false, and we have proof of that.
So you're saying that Prime Minister Mark Carney was not voted in. Your belief is that
He was placed in, yes, by the Great Reset, the people, the WEF, UN, the whole group of them have placed him here. Trudeau was also placed.
so. Okay, respectfully, what evidence do you have that any of that is true?
I have a lot of data. I'm online a lot, and I got a lot of information from people, and we know for that's a fact.
So if you think that former Prime Minister Trudeau and current Prime Minister Carney have been placed, what do you think is the reason for that, and who do you think placed them in these powerful positions?
There is a conglomerate of families, about I think it's about 16 to 30 families, very rich, very affluent, and they have been planning this for over 40 years to take away our democracy.
So what would be the purpose of this, and who would benefit from that happening to Canada?
Well, of course, the people who are trying to take control of our democracy will benefit from it in that they'll take all our assets so that they can continue their plan to enslave mankind.
Okay, so powerful words from you, Gail. Could you tell me about today's protests and what is your vision for what's going to happen after this protest, the purpose of it, and then what will happen from it?
Well, if we have no farmers, we have no food. I mean, it's very obvious what they want to do. They can't force shots into us. They can't force other methods. So they're doing their best to eliminate our farmers. You see the protests in Europe, and it's coming here too.
Okay, well, thank you for your time and stay dry. Thank you, Gail.
Thank you.
So we talked to Gail, a protester with very powerful words about the current government and the government that was before, which was both Liberal, so Prime Minister Trudeau and Prime Minister Carney. A lot of conspiracy theories, but as media, we like to hear everyone's opinion. These are not the views of Sanjha TV. These are the views of the protesters here today. Just want to make that clear. And we'll talk to some other protesters. So we've got this lady here. She's got a sign here that she's made, test before kill. Corrupt government, no farmers, no food, cut industrial tax. There's a lot on this sign. And it says, I support the farmers, stop government overreach, meaning that the government is butting in where they don't want them to. Let the people just eat nice, clean food and be safe from overreach. Yeah.
Listen to us, not just make up their own decisions. We needed like a voice too.
And you feel like you don't have a voice at this time?
No, I don't. No.
So today's protest, is that going to help you get a voice?
Well, it's a start. Hopefully it's a start. And, you know, more people will eventually come to terms with the government is overstepping their bounds.
I do know that you did not want to speak on camera, so I do appreciate you being bold and speaking with us. So thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good one.
So you can see the protesters are a bit, they're all gathered here for obviously a similar cause, but a lot of them don't want to speak on camera because right now they're really focused on the government and what they feel is unfair judgment by the government without consultation of the general public. So that is their opinion, and we will talk to a few more protesters if somebody wants to talk to us. So I'm here on this rainy day with Bruce. He's one of the protesters here. You can see from his vehicle, he's got it decorated with some messages. Bruce, why are you here protesting today on this very rainy day?
Various reasons, because the CFIA overreach, the government overreach, the bills that are being passed in the government, C2, C8, C9, and this is just absurd. It's been happening for way too long. People are losing homes, can't afford life, you know, and then there's all the censorship going on that wants to like silence everybody, and this is how we make, get our voices out.
So you talked about Bill C-289, I think, and what does that mean? I mean, there's a lot of people watching right now. Specifically, what are those issues?
One of them is a security procedure. They're saying it's for the borders, this and that, but there's been word on it, topic of them being able to go into our cell phones. They can hear our conversations, and then if there's any like hate speech, anything like that, they can jail you or fine you. So we're just standing up for that.
And the other things that you mentioned, what other freedoms are taken away, or you feel that they're being taken away? What other freedoms?
It's just our speech is one of them. Biggest one is the speech. We want to be able to speak and not being ridiculed for saying something, or even like a meme on Facebook. Police are investigating stuff like that, and they're going after people. It's happening in the UK already. People are getting jailed for stuff like that, and like we should be allowed to say something, and everyone's saying is, oh, it's racism. Well, it's not. We're here, everybody's getting it.
I think a lot of times, especially right now, and I'm not speaking for the television station, just observationally, things that are deemed racist might just be an observation. Like maybe it's not the race, maybe it's the human, if we just talk about the behavior of that specific human and not the race.
That's right. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. I don't think it is anything to do with racism, really. Like, immigration is happening. We get it, it's fine. But there's a mass immigration happening, and it is taking away jobs and other things. And, the Canadians, living class, are losing money as people coming to our country that aren't true Canadians. They're taking things away from us. Even healthcare. What would you say
if an immigrant came to this country, worked really hard, made a business, paid their taxes, and did everything by the law? What would you say to that immigrant that maybe came 20 years ago and is a productive member of the society?
That's good. That's assimilating with Canada, our cultures and stuff like that. And that's, it's like they're trying to bleed it out.
So you're not against immigration. You're just against behaviors that are being tolerated that shouldn't be tolerated.
That's right. And they're like, the police are, sometimes you see it's like being favored. These the immigrants coming in, they're being favored for doing things like people have seen, Palestinians burning the Canadian flag, down in Vancouver. Right. Now that's not proper. Like here in Canada, you're coming to Canada, well, join with Canadians. Yeah, I think whatever country you're in, I think to go there and burn the flag of that country is total disrespect and sacrilege. I agree with that too. Yeah. Well, good luck today with the protest, and thank you for taking our questions, especially in this weather. Thank you. Thank you. So that was one of the protesters here talking about more than just animal cruelty. He's talking about other bills that he doesn't agree with the government, and immigration. Immigration is a big one. It sounds like a topic of racism, but really it's a topic of having people come to the country and understand the laws and the normal ways of the Canadian people. And when we blend cultures, which is a beautiful thing, when we have different celebrations of different communities, it's a wonderful, beautiful thing that we should include. However, if there is something that's happening that is illegal, it's not an immigration thing. It's specific to that one person that's committing that crime. So it's a very important distinction, not necessarily the race, but individually bad apples versus the good apples. I'm here with Glenn. He is one of the attendees here at the protest. Maybe not a protester, but he is here. So we'll ask him what he's doing here and the flag that he's wearing. Glenn, tell me about yourself.
This is a Canadian flag. This is the old Canadian ensign. Can you turn around? Let's have a look. So you're saying this is a Canadian flag? This is a Canadian flag up until about 1965. Actually, until about maybe early 60s, and then they changed the maple leaf, and they went from the mint flavored maple leaf to one that's cinnamon, and the flag was the same, but these leaves became, before they adopted in, I believe it was 1967, that the Canadian flag, as you're used to now with the single maple leaf, came into vogue. Okay, Glenn, I referred to you as a protester, and you said, no, I'm not a protester. So can you clarify what you are doing here and what you would say you are labeled as? If I call you a protester and you say, I'm not a protester, what are you doing here? I'm a Canadian patriot man. I appreciate that. I'm a Canadian patriot as well. So tell me, what is your focus for today? If you could give anybody a message, what is something from your heart that you want to have happen or you want to see? This gentleman with his snake flag over here, that was my alternate choice. The snake flag of "Don't Tread on Me," you know, that was the original American Navy flag, I think it was. But this is like back before the 30s ish, perhaps. And so, nevertheless, I think that Canadians have been tread on by the Liberal government far too much and far too long. And we have to stand up for our neighbors and fellow community.
Well said. And Glenn, if I asked you about immigration, what is your feeling on immigration? Should it happen? And if it does happen, what would you want to see the protocol be?
We've had a really big problem with immigration under this Liberal government. I don't see that as the Canadian way in any sense. I am, as I would denote, old stock Canadian. I come from a Catholic French Canadian family, so what the Liberal government with their UN policies and in this last $78 billion kerfuffle budget, they are saying they don't have enough CBSA officers to check people coming in under their
The refugee status.
refugee status. And it's like, we're basically refugees. There's tent cities and refugees of Canadians in our own backyard. It doesn't take far to go for a walk off the beaten trail in the running paths, and you come across, if not an actual homeless encampment, the evidence that there's been one there rather recently. And the international wars that are being supported on the other side. I'm also Ukrainian, so if we can be protesting the god awful amount of money that's going over for arms that it's like not Kirkuk, or it's they're saying that they've got 40,000 Ukrainian regulars surrounded or already surrendered, and it's getting bad. They're saying the front lines are falling apart, and Carney says that they can have more billions of Canadian dollars, and I don't support the war machine and the international bankers' wars that are a part of that, especially from my community here in Surrey, British Columbia.
It is a very tough time. I do agree. It's hard to see those tent cities, as you called, just off the beaten path. You just go a little bit and you can see one quite regularly all throughout Surrey, Vancouver, all throughout the province, really. Tell me one last thing. This is my last question, and then I'll let you go. Talk about immigration with me. If I told you about a story where somebody came here 50 years ago from a different country, worked really hard, paid their taxes, learned the language, raised their whole family here, but came from a different country, what would you say to that immigration story versus now?
I think that that's still happening right now. It's the thing is it's always by the third generation that people have assimilated, and the flooding of refugees from Syria, from North Africa. Well, not from wherever, because these are war-torn places, and you know, these. It's the UN, and then they're skipping the lines from the tent cities that are in North Africa or in Kenya, and that is with the civil wars that are going on in Ethiopia. And so the people waiting in the UN tent cities are the women and children. And why is it these young military-aged men that are queue jumping and getting into Canada? Because I've seen this with my own eyes and talked to the people where I am in, being Ukrainian myself, I'm in favor of Ukraine or Eastern European, you know what I mean, compared to the Middle Eastern or North Africa, that the culture is completely different, and one would say not as compatible.
So you're saying that Ukrainian people are more compatible with Canadian people than people coming from India?
Yes, or just well, I didn't ever use the Indian term. I was saying North Africa and the Middle East wars per se, the Central African and the amount of Somali, they just changed the community.
So what if I said to you that the person that comes from Somalia or another part that's maybe Middle Eastern type of immigrant, if they come from there and they come here and they learn all about Canadian values and they sing the Canadian anthem, they work hard, they pay their taxes, they do everything that is expected as far as being a great Canadian citizen, what would you say to that?
Well, I would say that that sounds like a person who is already a Christian fleeing violence in there, because that's the kind of person that does that. And there is a lot of, it seems to me to be the other faiths and other, you know, communities that are coming from these war-torn and strife-filled parts of the, well, we're just printing money and more Canadian bonds to send over to these war-torn places, or to Poland and other places in Eastern Europe to bolster their military-industrial complex, supposedly. And yet we're still, I don't know what's going on with these submarines. It seems to be another catching point with Trump here. So, you know,
I think I'm going to have to cut you off now because I think the protest is going to start. But I do appreciate all of your words that you shared with us. I do want to make one distinction. I think being a good person is the goal, and not necessarily any faith. You did mention Christianity, and that's great. But I think being Canadian is about being a good person with great Canadian values, not necessarily just being a Christian, because there's probably a lot of things that you and I are sinning right now. So I would agree that both of us.
This is what it was. The French, it was. If you're going to say that America was built by Protestants, well, Canada was built by Catholics. They were the Catholics who were, and maybe not fleeing persecution as much as the Protestants. You know, you think of the Amish. There's many of the Amish, or these sorts of people that have come so far out west to BC, and these are the farmer types, and these are the people that are being persecuted by these laws the most, and the raw milk and such like that. When you're getting into the context of farmers more per se. And so I would definitely hazard to, that's the between the Anglicans, but the Anglicans kind of, you know what I mean?
Again, I don't think it's I don't think it's a religion thing, because if you're saying you're a Christian, and I would say that Christianity probably would say, let's just see what you've got in your right hand, if you can show us. So he's got that. I'm pretty sure, God bless you, I'm pretty sure that is probably not, you know, within the 10 Commandments or whatever. I think it's probably not, you know, you have to.
Anointing oil.
Anyways, Glenn, thank you for talking to us, and whatever God you believe in, God bless you.
Oh yeah, God bless. God bless the audience. Have a wonderful day out there in the rain, folks.
You too, thank you. I'm here with Kevin and Jordan, and they're here at the protest, and you're a very young person to be here, trying to make some changes in this country. Tell me, how are you feeling this morning?
Pretty good.
So you're here for the protest. What is it that you are protesting?
A lot. It's almost too much. Starts from everything, but obviously the ostriches. But Bill C8, Bill C9, mass immigration, just the lack of leadership in general. There's just honestly too much to name. I could go on for too long. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, it means a lot that you're out here in this rain. You're obviously very, you believe in what you're talking about today so strongly because this weather is not, it's not enjoyable for sure. So what did you want to say about what's happening in the country? You're a very young person, so thank you for being out here because it's truly a Canadian thing to come out and say what you feel. That's the freedom that we have here in Canada. What would you say is your observation on the current affairs of the country? It's a big question, so think about what you see and what you want to have happen.
Pretty much like stop mass immigration. And yeah,
So when we say stop mass immigration, what is it that you want to stop? Like, so if somebody comes from a different country and they say they come to your class and they're really nice and they're learning and you're helping them learn English and they don't break any laws and they get jobs and they pay their taxes and they're very kind, how would you feel about that type of immigration?
it's fine. Yeah,
But the immigration where somebody comes here from a different country, has a criminal record and wants to shoot and hurt people, how would you feel about that?
not good.
That's the ones we don't want.
Yeah,
So some immigration is okay, but the bad immigrants are not welcome.
yeah.
And what would you say about that?
So I've been stressing to people, don't get angry at individuals because I would come here too if I had the opportunity. I was just in Edmonton and I saw 100,000 refugees from Africa, but so they get paid more money than I do, and and I pay into that system, and they take from it, but they're given that opportunity, so we can't, like he says, we love everybody. You can't get mad at anybody individually because I would do the same as them if from wherever they're coming from. So it's the government and the compliance of the people is also troubling because people are letting that happen and they turn the blind eye. And just all their money, they don't mind if it's gone for things like that. Now we have an overreach. You could go on forever, but our land rights now. Oh, this isn't our land, and we've been acknowledging for years it's not our land. So now what are they going to do? Oh, we're going to get taxed to be on other people's land now. It's just going to continue because everybody's complying. So
There's a lot going on. It's Kevin,
much.
right?
Yes, thank you.
Kevin, it seems like there's so much to talk about. So Kevin, I have one final question for you. And I know today is about the animals and making sure that we, are protecting them as well. But you did talk about a bigger problem, which is immigration. So if I told you a story about 50 years ago, a family came here from, say, India. And they came here and they worked hard, they paid their taxes, they had their kids here, and they're living a great life, great Canadian citizens. What would you say about that?
Spectacular. We're a majority of immigrants. We came from Germany, and there's a good quote. A guy said, "We planted the seeds as good people." Same with my neighbors. I grew up in Surrey. They came from India. We came from Germany. Same thing. We're good Canadians. But the new ones are, we planted the seeds. They're here to eat the fruit of the seeds that we planted. Is a good quote that I heard. So that's what I don't like, is not putting into our system, but taking from it.
So if you had immigrants that came here now, but were working hard and doing all the right things, no extortion, no shooting up anything, no breaking the law, doing the things that good Canadian folk do, you'd be okay with that?
Yeah, that's spectacular. Immigration's going to happen, but at the mass level of 480,000 a year, and also 3.2 million temporary workers, stuff like that is what I'm putting my foot down for. Yeah. So that's why we're here.
So not against immigration, against the wrong type of immigration. Everyone's welcome, but the mass immigration needs to stop because there's not enough time to assimilate.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
That 50 years ago family coming to this country is actually my parents.
Exactly.
So, and I love Canada. I'm a loyal Canadian through and through. So thank you for what you're doing here. Is this young man your son?
Yeah.
Awesome. You got a great dad, kiddo. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So you can see right here the convoy of cars that are going to go from here to Kitsilano. They're all beeping their horns and revving their engines, and they've got their Canadian flags and a couple different flags actually. They're making the distinction between the Canada that was and the Canada that is. What that means is the Canadian way has been jeopardized in their opinion, and it's different than what it was years ago. Most of the people here talked about what they used to see as far as immigration. This protest today was supposed to be about animals and the ostriches and the safety of our food supply. And what it really turned into was more of people talking about the current state of affairs, how the government is letting them down in their words, not my words, but their perception is that the current government is not doing what it's supposed to. They feel that they are not able to make decisions or have freedom to make decisions, and that the government is overreaching all of these sentiments are by them, not necessarily us at Sanjha TV. This is Sonia West, who will show you more clips from this protest. And stay watching Sanjha TV. Again, the views that are expressed in this broadcast are not the views of Sanjha TV. They are the views of the people here at the protest and myself, Sonia West. So thank you for watching. We'll see you again next time.